always count on you two guys.
You ready, mate?
Ready when you are.
Nixie, what'd you make of that performance?
Well, in the end, I thought we fought it out. It was start hurts us when you come out and cop a punch in the face and you're not ready, and that was probably disappointing. But our guys showed resilience for the second, third and fourth, and we were able to get the game a little bit more back on our terms. You have a look at the contest. I thought our guys early inside stoppage, we struggled. We coughed the ball up a little. We were able to rectify that, and if you look at the contest numbers throughout the game later, it's a different number. It's outside contest, and it's that ability to fight. I thought their backs were really strong, and credit to them the way they played. We just weren't able to hold that ball in our front half at all.
Is it concerning you guys had a better 22 in than them? They had more number of first choice players probably out of the side. Smashed inside 50s, as you said, beaten in contested position and in scoring shots. How much of a concern is that? Or are we talking early March still?
Yeah, you can look at a number of stats. We're not concerned about that. There's so many positives that we're taking out of the game, and there are periods. There's stuff we've got to work on. We've got a slightly different game plan, a newer game plan for our guys. So there's some, you're going to struggle with consistency in some areas. And I thought, as I pointed out, we were able to bring that game back into a really strong contest in the second, third and fourth. You come towards the last quarter, it's anyone's game. They were able to run it out. But we've got some work to do on some areas still. But what we've seen over the last 3 games or 3 weeks, we've got enough positives coming out of those that I think as a playing group and a coaching group, where we really do see ourselves going in the right direction.
What are those positives?
Well, look, we've got a method. Our players have bought into game plan. So we have a game plan that we know stands up. When we get the game plan right, when we get the method right, our players understand that, they trust it, and it works. Now, it's the ability to do that quarter by quarter by quarter. At this point, we're not able to do that. We haven't shown that for 3 weeks. So our next couple of weeks, it's important we're able to find a way to be able to do that. We get Sydney in round 1. We know we've got to bring 4 quarters of footy, otherwise the result, it won't be the one we're after.
Is your game plan based on winning a lot of contested footy, though?
Look, it is. I mean, the whole game's based around contested footy, and the key to contested footy is understanding what it actually is. It's not bash and crash. It's Gold Coast's ability today to outwork us to certain areas of the ground and win loose ball gets. So we're working on that. First quarter, there's no doubt today we were beaten by a better side in that area as far as inside the contest. As the game went on, we did struggle away from it, mainly ahead of the ball. And as I said before, we tried a couple of things today. We played the one ruck. That means we brought Tex up into the ruck, and I thought we saw some really good stuff in around Tex being near the footy. What that does do is make you a little smaller ahead of the ball. So we'll look at that as a coaching group, and we'll make some decisions around that in the next couple of weeks.
That decision on Tex, obviously you risk, I guess, an impact injury in a ruck contest to arguably your best forward.
Yeah.
Is this something we could see moving forward, or you just...
It's something, we may see during the year. It won't be every week. It's, there's different opponents where you may be able to do it. Today was, we felt today was the opportunity where we thought this is one we can have a look prior to the season. It's not something you want to roll out in round 1. And as I said, we probably took a fair bit out of it, a lot of learning out of it, as far as what we'd then need ahead of the ball if he was coming up. And I think it was pretty obvious towards the end of the game where their backs were able to dominate in the air. We couldn't quite get the contest we were after ahead of the ball. So there's some areas there that we'll work on. But Tex has worked a certain method that he knows how he's going to work in the ruck. He's not going to take on a 206 centimetre ruckman running front on and take a knee in the face. So there's a fair bit of stuff. I thought he did quite well today.
What did you say at half time? Seemed like it was a little bit of a different side coming out after half time.
Yeah, well, the half-time's if things aren't quite going the way you're at, you get that opportunity to sit down with them and just go back to basics. Like, we've had 3 months to work on a game plan that involves a lot of different methods to what these guys have worked on. What I thought today was a lot of our younger guys showed some real strength in it. I thought Smith was outstanding in the stuff we've worked on. I thought Seedsman showed, inside the contest, what it is to be tough and to absorb some pressure, and these areas we're working on. So there were some really positive things to come out, and we've still got some of our more experienced players that have got a lot more in them, which is a really good sign. It's not like we're playing out of our skin and not getting the job done.
By playing Tex as your second ruck, when people ask if you've not got confidence in Frampton or Himmelberg to play that second ruck role?
No, we've got confidence. We wanted to have a look at something slightly different today. And in saying that, Billy and Elliot are both working on parts of their game that we need to be at a certain level. They'll play tomorrow, they'll train tomorrow, and they'll put out a good performance and push for selection for round one. And we had that conversation earlier this week around what we were going to look like this week, and that had nothing to do with round one. So we expect them to come out and push for a round one selection. And we were looking at the result today, how we performed ahead of the ball, and it may be that into round one versus Sydney we might play a little taller ahead.
What have you got on tomorrow footy-wise for those blokes?
So we'll do what we can to simulate as close as we can to a game-like situation. So running-wise, physicality, those guys will get an opportunity to show themselves. Yeah.
Brodie's clearly shown that he's got the capacity to be an elite midfielder and an X-factor for you guys. His time down back looks a little limited. He was pretty impressive today.
Yeah, it was a real positive for us, and it's been now a few weeks. We watched him last week in a very high standard game. Look comfortable in the State of Origin. We love him. He was playing half back in that game, so to get him back in on ball and he didn't miss a beat today. He's probably the way we're trying to play suits his game. I thought he was a standout for us in the game and a real positive. As I said before, I didn't think he was the only one. I thought, Fisher, Maxey down back, I thought stood out. He looks like a player. He's composed. He doesn't make too many mistakes. Solid as a backman. So there were more positives than just with this.
Has he cemented a round one spot tonight, Fisher?
Oh, look, we've still got a couple of weeks to go, and we'll have a reasonable week on the track leading into the weekend off before the season. So I don't want to go that far ahead. But there's no hiding from the fact I think he plays the game really well.
How, in your own mind, you've got to pick a 22 for round one. I know it's straight after the game, it's tough, but is there like 24 or 25 in that mix in your mind, or what sort of number, how close to are you picking your 22? Yeah,
there's probably more than that, to be honest. I mean, it was a tough week selection-wise to have a few miss out that weren't able to play. We played 22 today straight through, and we had 4 that were ready to go in case of emergency if someone happened to get a knock or go down injured. So Miles Paholkis deserves to play at the level, and unfortunately you can't play 23. As you said before, Elliot Himmelberg, Billy Frampton are knocking on the door and saying, well, look, I want to play, and we're all still working on something. There's a reason they're not playing at this point. But by no means is it that we're putting 22 in and having no guys that are missing out. I mean, even Hardigan was probably unlucky not to play today, but that gave us a chance to have a look. He's only played the one game back, so he'll be better for a run tomorrow again.
How do you see your forward structure, Matt?
I think it's a work in progress. I think we've got a young forward line. There's no hiding from that. So from a positioning point of view, I thought they fought it out. That was the key. I thought they battled hard. It was a tough day for them, and I thought, credit to Gold Coast how they played down there. I thought they positioned themselves well and probably had the better of our younger forward line, but we took some real positives out. We had a chat at half time. I thought third quarter we came out and fought it out through that area, and the game, as you said, looked a little bit stronger for us. But when you look at the inside 50s, you haven't quite been able to hold that ball in your front half as much or win it ahead of the ball. So it's a work on for us.
There's a stunning passage that resulted in a Murphy goal. It was a beautiful rebound through the middle of the ground, overlap, chain of handball. Murphy shot it in an open one. Yeah. Effectively, at your best, that's what you like to harness all the time. How can you sort of create that a little bit more consistently?
Yeah, it's the scenario, it's the timing that we're working on at the moment, the when and where and why. we still make some errors of trying things early when the opposition are up and about and at their best defensively, and we try to pick off some balls out of our back third that we wouldn't do in a training session, and that's experience. That's getting things right in the moment. When it does come off and we get that timing right, we can look really dynamic and we can test sides out. That's the challenge at the moment, is becoming consistent in selecting the right times. It's not a method issue, it's just a timing of when are the opposition at their weakest. Often off turnover, when can we attack them and go back through the corridor? I thought there were times where we looked really strong in that area and probably let ourselves down with the last one where we rather than staying on the in the corridor, we went out wide again. So these are all things that we're going to get better and better at as we learn each week.
Talia's okay, came back, got knocked down with the back, hitting the back.
Talia
came back on, he's okay?
Yeah, landed pretty flush on his coccyx watching it back. So I think it was just that initial bruising, and hopefully he's fine.
You touched on sort of 3 months that you've been working on your game plan together. How much of today was sort of coming to terms with game plan under pressure, and how much was it guys sort of gelling and understanding? You sort of have a balance of what's sort of lacking and how far off you feel like you are for round one?
Yeah, well, we feel we know where we're at and we know our RFIs, what those areas are. We're confident that what we're working on will hold up, but it's a consistency issue of we're not saying you come out and smash contest and destroy teams, because there are some teams that are very, very good at it. But we know that when we're able to balance that and keep that on an even ledger, that we're a super competitive side.
And everyone else fit outside of Tals?
Lynchy took a knock, but that was just a split, so he spent some time. But at this point, everyone's pulled up well.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.